myself in the lies the mirror fails to hide or tell. My beating heart and my splitting sails are betraying me, turning my virtues into vices. Like water into wine, I'd rather be genuine, a cynic than a hypocrite living a lie. What is time in the eyes of the dying man? When I leave, I'll be not here a second chance.
If you're new to the channel, I think a bit of backstory is in order. And if you've been around for the long haul, who doesn't love a good flashback to where it all really started?
So what's the news, guys?
We just sold the camper.
We did what?
Sold the camper.
We sold the camper! In 2018, we sold it all and hit the road full-time in our 4Runner and Turtleback trailer. The goal was to drive as far north as possible in both Canada and Alaska. To our surprise, our adventure resonated with a lot of folks, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why we're here today, traveling and telling our stories with you here on YouTube and even more on Patreon. In 2021, we were invited to come back to Alaska by our soon-to-be friends Craig and Brooke of Alaska Overlander. On that trip, we borrowed one of their rental rigs, a 4Runner named Denali, and spent 10 days experiencing Alaska from several different perspectives that embodied the Alaskan lifestyle and pastimes. We camped at multiple epic spots, fished in secluded crystal clear Alaskan lakes, kayaked to the toe of a glacier, and stood on land that was previously covered in ice for thousands of years. We tried our hand at salmon and trout in the Kenai River, explored the historical Kennecott copper mine, panned for gold in the heart of an old gold rush stream, flew over ancient glaciers, and even landed on the top of an ice field for an impromptu snowball fight. And most importantly, we spent time as a family making memories along remote Alaskan trails. Today, we've returned yet again to this beautiful, mysterious place to see what new secrets she holds. And I have to say that with each trip, we find ourselves more in love with Alaska, and few places excite us more to visit than this vast land. So ride along with us as we explore more of its back roads and landscapes in our third expedition to what feels like the edge of the world in this last frontier. Our story picks up in Anchorage, where our now good friends Craig and Brooke picked us up from the airport and invited us into their home for a few days while we staged for our 3-week-long adventure. Once at Craig and Brooke's house, we were introduced to our new home away from home. Say hello to Nanana, a 2021 Toyota Tacoma with the perfect array of accessories to make our travels enjoyable without being too loaded down with heavy armor. This will be our first time in a Tacoma, and we're stoked to see how it fits our family.
See the video of the bear in the backyard this morning?
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy. Could you imagine going out to play on the trampoline and seeing that dude?
I freaked the heck out.
After a couple days in Anchorage, it was time to hit the trail. And this time around, our focus was just that, trails. Now, you might think one would have a limitless pick of unpaved overland adventures here in Alaska, but the truth of the matter is, there are fewer roads and trails in this massive state, which is 2.5 times bigger than Texas, than all the roads in Delaware combined, which is the second smallest state in the Union. That means that finding routes can be a challenge once you venture away from the typical attractions like the Dalton or Denali highways. And so, we headed into the bush with the proverbial key to some new lands to explore in the form of a camping permit purchased from the surrounding native corporations, which is going to allow us access to a lot of new trails and campsites. It wasn't long before we found this permit to be worth its weight in gold as we drove alongside a beautiful Alaskan river with our pick of empty wild camps along its banks.
You want to cross that, Caroline?
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Another unique challenge in Alaska, specifically in the summer months, is knowing when to stop for the day, since there's almost 24 hours of usable light this far north. Add to that incredible views and a strong case of curiosity, you're going to find yourself driving into the wee morning hours without even realizing it. And so, after navigating a couple sections of flooded trail, which thankfully had solid rock bottoms, we finally called it quits for the day and whipped up a quick meal before getting some sleep. What deliciousness did you make?
Beef stroganoff.
What? Oh, nice and easy. All right, well, good morning, folks, and welcome to Alaska. That's right. Stumbled into this mediocre-ish, I'm just kidding, amazing campsite last night with this incredibly fast-moving river. Alaska's been getting just pummeled with rain, so we're doing our best to avoid the worst of it, the worst of the flooding. While this one is on the edge of its banks, it's not dangerous, so this is where we are. And from here, we head further north. So let's get some quick, fast breakfast in us, get on the trail. What you got for breakfast, Mama Bar?
I slaved over the bran of raisin with crunch.
You brand it and raisined it yourself?
I did.
And added crunch. Look at that.
I did.
Woo! Hey, when you're in Alaska, you got better things to do than cook, right?
Yeah, that's something that we specifically decided this trip was that we didn't come to necessarily eat. We came to see and do. And so we're going to be eating a lot of convenient food and Mountain House.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, they're delish.
Want to ride it?
What?
You get a boat and ride down that?
Nope.
Nope. Ceremonial pouring of the coffee. So while this has been my first real attempt at filming since we got here, we've actually been in Alaska for about 3.5, 4 days. And before we hit the trail, my good friend Craig and I went on a halibut and salmon chartered fishing trip, and it was phenomenal. So let's just, while we're eating breakfast, we're gonna roll that for you right now so you can kind of see how that all shook out. No pastime goes hand in hand with Alaska like fishing. For millennia, the people here have relied on fish for sustenance to carry them through the long, harsh winters, and that reliance continues to this day. Now, sport fishing makes up a huge part of the draw for tourists, and it's easy to see why, once you get over the 6-foot swells, that is. Today, we're after 2 species, halibut, and then later, salmon. In the past, I never was much of a fish eater, but after our first trip to Alaska in 2018, where I had the chance to have my first proper meal of fresh halibut, my taste buds haven't stopped craving its flaky deliciousness, preferably deep fried with a bit of lemon juice on top. And so when Craig suggested a guy's trip to go after some of the freshest available, I bit hook, line, and sinker. Halibut are crazy looking fish. They're born shaped like any other fish with traditional symmetry and an eye on each side of their head. But at just 6 months old, they rebel against logic and morph into a bottom dweller with one eye wandering its way around the body to join the other as it lies flat on the ocean floor, which is a perfect way to camouflage itself from larger predators while making it a sneaky attacker itself when smaller prey comes along. Halibut can grow to enormous sizes, with the official world record standing at 459 pounds.
Oh, look at that.
While a monster of this size would be a welcome fight today, we instead found a school of the perfect eating size, which are called chickens by Alaskans. I guess that's because they taste most like the flightless fowl. Maybe Chick-fil-A could have an actual competitor if an enterprising Alaskan gave it a shot.
Another one.
Since our limit per person was 2, Craig and I threw back several after landing our initial catch in hopes of a toad. Sorry, that's a Tennessee saying for a big fish. But in the end, we settled on a couple chickens to round out our catch.
Green.
Thank you.
Another picture?
Yeah, I'll do
Show
it.
the tail.
Yeah.
Same size.
That same size. What you gonna do? Time to eat.
Some salmon.
Time to eat. Salmon time.
Then it was on to salmon. Now my first attempt at salmon in 2021 was a bit of a bust since the run was dying off when we fished in the Kenai. But today, I think I finally found redemption.
Oh, yeah, buddy. He's a fighter. No, you lost it. Worth it, all right.
Oh man. Almost got out.
Wait, tell me the pig. You want to keep that towards your stick?
After a couple of hours of jigging, I had caught my limit of 6 beautiful silvers. And honestly, could have reached that limit sooner if I hadn't lost about that many after some ferocious fights and missed strikes. A huge shout out to Puffin Charters of Seward, Alaska for the trip of a lifetime alongside some of the most beautiful coastline in the world.
To find my way. To find the path you've been traveling on, like the trees wait for the rain to come. I feel hope in the strength of our love.
With our first official camp complete and packed down, it was time to head for another lesser-known trail with rumors of a couple historical sites at its end to explore. As we were making our way down the trail, we stopped dead in our tracks and all gasped in unison at what we saw. A gorgeous lynx staring back with that timeless 1,000-yard stare.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe it. I didn't know what I was looking at.
Oh my gosh. We just freaking saw a lynx. Do you know how hard it is to see a lynx, much less like a bobcat or a mountain lion? The elusive, the lynx in the wild. Not in some zoo or someone's backyard where they're acclimated, just driving around the corner, there's a lynx. I almost did not get to film it. The camera was taking its precious time to boot up. I'm like, come on, come on, come on, come on. And it disappeared. We eased up to the edge, and there she was, or he was, just looking back at me. Just those eyes, those 1,000-yard stare eyes, like incredible.
She fucked you for sure.
Incredible.
So unreal.
All right, Alaska's off to a great start, y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's all downhill from here.
Oh man. Woo, we can go home now.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
See, it's over.
We have an ambitious goal this time around, with lots of miles to cover and potential routes to try. But little did we know, things are about to go sideways and throw a wrench in our best laid plans. But for now, we've made our way to the northern half of Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve in search of 2 historical gold mines. Mixed reports in our research suggest that the last section of trail is in questionable condition, and so we've made our way to this point for a first-hand inspection. And it's pretty clear, legal route or not, it's certainly not an easy one. Oh, that's why. Yeah, there's just one big nasty mud hole up here.
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks like people have thrown all kinds of trash in it trying to get out, so probably not worth it.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it safe on this one. That's a nasty little mud hole, and I think there's a lot of junk down in the bottom where people have tried it and gotten stuck. So who knows what you'll jam up into your undercarriage trying to make it across. Not to mention there's like parts of a rusty culvert on top of that, so why risk it at this stage? But we might go check it out later on foot. Since it was getting late in the day, we decided to backtrack to a wild camp that we had marked earlier. Our plan was to get some rest and then head out early in the morning to hike the old trails on foot, since we didn't want to push our luck in the rented Tacoma.
I feel like we probably should have gotten big cans.
Think so? It'll be alright, they don't use that much.
True.
Alright, well, we've made it to camp, and we're in a bit of a swampy area, but we're also in Alaska, so it's just going to be a struggle to stay mosquito free. There's no perfect solution, but the one thing that we've gravitated towards in our travels up here has been these thermocells that attach to the Jetboil style gas canisters. You got a little wafer that sits on top of a heating pad here, and it just warms it ever so slightly, and within 15 or 20 minutes it's incredible how many mosquitoes disappear. Now you might not be able to see it behind me, but there's probably 20 or 30 already buzzing around because they've been following the exhaust fumes from the truck. So if you're coming to Alaska, this is one little handy trick that you can use to help knock them down. Now they also have USB powered versions now. They have the smaller butane powered versions, and the gas ones don't work great at altitude. So if you're going to be at high altitude, look at the USB styles, but these are going to work for us just fine tonight. So we're basically going to pop smoke, throw these outside, sit in the truck for a few minutes, let it activity die down, and then commence to set up camp. You ready? Pop and smoke! All right, here we go.
Throw them out.
Grenade!
Grenade.
All right, well, they're starting to do their job over here, but I'm just gonna walk away from our little thermocell cloud for a second. This is a cool little place in here. I just happened to glance over and saw this little 2-track shooting into the scrub. There's a nice little camp spot here, and then the 2-track kind of keeps going. Now obviously another thing that you want to be mindful of here in Alaska is moose and bears. Now we always get the question, should I take a firearm to Alaska? And my response is always, if you're familiar with firearms, then yes. If you are not, more than likely you're going to be more of a danger to those around you. So I would highly recommend either way, bear spray, keeping your scents really low, so cook and clean up immediately, or better yet, cook before you get to camp and then just go to bed when you get to camp. And being situationally aware, find yourself always looking about. What's going on? Where am I? Where's my kids? Where's my dog? And just keeping your head on a swivel, because if you can spot things early, if you can find those situations before they get dangerous, that's the key. Alright, so you can see the mosquitoes have pretty much vacated the truck area now. So it's time to set us up. Alright, so I figured I'd address the elephant in the room. The big gray elephant sitting behind me. No, we did not bring our own rig up here for multiple reasons. If you're following us on Patreon, I've already explained our strategy behind our Alaska methods. But 10 days of drive time to and from Alaska, or $10,000 ferry ride with one of our vehicles in the trailer. So think about the downtime, think about the expense. It was a lot cheaper and a lot easier to simply hop on Alaskan Airlines, fly in Anchorage, and hop in this amazing Tacoma by Alaska Overlander. Now, if you've been following the channel for any amount of time, you know that last year we did the same thing, except we were in a white 4Runner. So if you're considering Alaska, it's a mouthful. It is a lot to commit to. But we came up with a pretty cool solution. So thank you, Craig and Brooke, for being there for us yet again, and for letting us try out your new truck, Nanana, which is a Tacoma and is a whole new footprint for our family. So it's been interesting to try something new. Now, we got to get cooking supper now. Mama's ready. She's done. You done?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
All right, enough talking. Let's make some of our super fast meals. Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about our strategy?
So the strategy was that we were coming to see Alaska, not eat Alaska. And last year, I did what I normally do, just picked out groceries and things to cook. And we did good eating all of our groceries, but it took up a lot of space in the 4Runner. So this time, Kev was like, listen, we have a whole box of these at home.
6 years old.
Pick out some of them and let's take them up. We'll eat through them. If we need more, we'll stop and find a place that has more. My goal was, this is all our dinners.
Maybe we'll eat out a time or two.
Yeah, but then lunch was going to be fresh, and then we have like fresh fruit and vegetables and things like that to kind of supplement. But these really do kind of get a bad rap, but actually they're really good, and there's nothing that makes me feel appalled eating them, actually.
Yeah, so you can use these as a core and then just add some fresh options on the side.
Yeah.
Bread is another good side for this type of stuff.
For sure.
So to really expand the meal experience without causing you to haul a bunch of extra stuff in the rig.
Right.
That woman, she got a hold on me. She's the warmth of the summer, the color of the spring. She's the strongest wind, the calmest breeze. That woman, she got a hold on me. That girl, she's like the finest wine. She'll give you a taste if you give her time. She's a complex heart and I don't mind. That girl, she's like the finest wine. That girl, she's like the finest wine. Now drink until my heart is full. Honey, you drink me and I drink you. You're the kind of love I'm running to. Got a hold on me, got a hold on me.
All right, well, good morning, folks. Or maybe it's afternoon. Bit of a slow start this morning for reasons which you can probably tell. I've got 101 fever and did not sleep great last night. A little bit achy all over. So that presents a lot of challenges, as you can imagine. So we're going to go up and see the mine while I feel mobile. Continue to take some Tylenol and whatnot, see how it goes, and then make a decision after that. If I'm still rough, we might bail out, either head to Fairbanks or even back to Anchorage. See if we can't head it off at the pass. But that's part of travel. That's part of doing what we do. It can happen at any given time, and it's important that you bring all the necessary stuff for when this does go down. We had a thermometer. We had an O2 sensor, so I knew that my O2 levels are down to like 92, 93, and then medicines as well. So got to be prepared for all that stuff. All right, let's back down camp while I'm still vertical and go see what we can see, and then figure out what the next leg of this adventure looks like. Hopefully in the wilderness and not elsewhere.
With the looming concern that we may be getting sick, we thought long and hard before making the hike out to the mines. Ultimately, I decided I felt mobile enough to give it a shot, mostly because I didn't want to waste the drive to this remote location without seeing what we had come to find. And so, we tightened up our hiking boots and began sloshing our way through the swampy areas before turning south to climb the White Mountains to the first stop along our 5-mile round-trip hike.
Mom, it's not raining. You don't need your hood up.
Kids in mud, right?
I know.
Welcome to the Rambler Mine. Now there's very little information on this mine, but as best as we can tell, it seems to have been in operation during the early 1940s, and some documents suggest that prospecting activity was performed up until the 1980s. This mine is still privately owned and appears to have been converted into a hunting camp with some improvements that are helping to maintain the old structures. The coolest part about this mine is that there are still a lot of artifacts laying around, as if at any moment the miners could return and get back to work.
Pretty decent cabin.
I know, it's not half bad.
I don't know if that's circa 1940 or not.
Big old generator.
What do you guys think? That bear claw marks? He's up here sharpening his claw skills.
After retracing our steps back down the mountain and hiking another 1.5 miles to the east, we arrived at a more impressive operation, the Nebezna Mine. Gold was discovered in this area back in the late 1890s, but the remoteness kept mining operations stifled with the sheer effort and expense required to extract the ore from the mountainsides. But in the case of this mine, one story says that an Alaskan native by the name of Nebezna John had found a rich gold vein when he stumbled upon a mound of pay dirt where a hungry bear was attempting to dig a marmot out of his hole. With this lode discovery, he was successful enough on his own to support his family as he pecked away for a few years. But when a rush of prospectors came pouring in, it was apparent his secret wasn't going to last much longer. And so, in 1929, he entered into an agreement with Carl Whitham, who had the ability to begin mining in earnest, especially after the confirmation of the richness of the find. In fact, the quote-unquote bear vein, as they named it, was so lucrative that a road was built to give access for equipment and upwards of 70 miners to make their way to the find. While it wasn't in operation very long, reports say that over 10 years, over $1.8 million was mined from the claim. In 1947, Whitham died and the mine was permanently closed. But it apparently wasn't due to a lack of gold. It was actually due to the forced closure during World War II, followed by plummeting gold prices after the war, along with the rising expenses to extract it from the mountainside. There's still gold in its 3 miles of tunnels deep within the mountain, but it will most likely never see the light of day. Unfortunately, this operation left a nasty scar in this part of the wilderness from an incredible amount of pollution due to the cyanide leaching processes. Efforts are slowly underway to recover and renew the portions found on national park land, but sadly, the mining structures themselves are quickly deteriorating and will most likely collapse soon under another heavy winter snowfall. We count ourselves fortunate to have seen these before the inevitable happens, and in spite of the raging fever, headache, and burning lungs, this hike was well worth the effort.
All right, folks. Well, wrapping up another day in the Alaskan wilderness. Nice long hike.
Yeah.
In spite of the
Kept
crud.
dying.
Yeah. We're gonna play it safe tomorrow, though. We're gonna head up to Fairbanks, get a little Airbnb for a couple days just to make sure this is all kicked thoroughly.
Yeah.
In the patootie
We're not going to risk it.
before we continue on.
But we'll be at a good launching point in Fairbanks
Yes.
to go and do one of the two or both the options
Got
that
a
we
couple
wanted
cool
to.
options that we're looking forward to.
So,
yeah.
it's a smart move.
And we got some time.
Yeah.
Some time. It's not like we have 10 days like last year.
Yeah.
So. All right. Let me go sleep. All right. Let's shut all this down.
Yeah.
I'll show you how dark this gets.
It's a little bright.
It's crazy. And then... Good night.
I haven't looked at myself yet.
Trust me, I don't think you can look any worse than me.
Okay. That's sweet of you.
Well, you never want an important trip like this to go this way, but we're going to have to pull the plug. We're headed to Fairbanks. Got an Airbnb lined up for a couple, 3 days, and hopefully kick this. We had two choices. We could push it, hope we get to feeling better, but now a little bit back here is rough as well. So, gonna play it safe. Try to get healed up so we can continue on. But nice spot right here. Very nice spot. Patrons, by the way, we've got just a dump truck load of waypoints from this trip. So if you ever do come up here and decide to rent one of these from Alaska Overlander, you'll have the hookup. All right, coffee, and then a 5-6 hour drive.
5 hours.
5 hour drive to Fairbanks.
Wait for me!
Once we settled into our Airbnb, we found out it was a smart move indeed, since Caroline and I both tested positive for COVID.
Well, turns out getting a place to recoup was a good idea because winter, chicken dinner.
Thankfully, Sarah was able to avoid infection while nursing us back to health and took the opportunity to cook up some of the halibut we had caught a few days before.
All right, so what do we got going on here?
Halibut. But
Yeah.
it's cooked in a way called poor man's lobster.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see how it is.
All right. Oh, dang. If you set that in front of me and said it was king crab, I'd be like, pretty good. Dang. Right? Yeah. All right, and we're back. Barely. Voice is coming back. Caroline, how you feeling?
Good.
Good. Fevers broke a couple days ago. Still got all the crud up here, but on the mend. But I want to show you this little place that saved our bacon. We're going to drop the Airbnb link in the video just in case if any of you guys are up here. It's a good place to stop over. 2 bedrooms, queen size, king size, all kinds of room for kids and air mattresses if that's your style. Big old couch. Single bathroom. Super duper nice. Got a little TV over the tub. I might have used that. Nice little shower. Always a big plus when you're on the trail. And crazy enough, it's hard to find anything for rent up here right now. Everybody's in Alaska, so we got super fortunate finding this place. But Sarah was able to cook yet again some delectable meals here. Poor man's lobster was amazing. All right, let's load up. I'm about out of breath and get on the trail. Washer, dryer.
Caroline.
Nice spot. After you, ladies.
Oh, she's got to put her shoes on.
Wow, you guys are so
So
in sync.
in sync. Bye. It's been fun.
Bye.
See you when we see ya. That's a cool little place.
Yeah, it was nice.
Saved our bacons.
After 4 days and 3 nights in Fairbanks, we were surprisingly much better. The last time I had this sickness, I spent 2 weeks in bed and suffered through months of long symptoms that I never really recovered from. But this time, it was a much easier fight, and we were soon ready for another round of Alaskan adventure.
Round 2.
Here we go.
Let's do it. Whew. It feels so good to be on the road again. Yeah, you can let that cliche song just play away in your brain now. And now it's stuck. You're going to be hearing that for the next 3 hours. But anyhow, feeling marginally better. No fever. And yeah, looking forward to finding something new. This is an entirely new route for us. And rumor has it, there may be some trails along this route. So we're going to take it easy though. Go find us a nice little place to camp and then just kind of start exploring. Make sure that we're all up to speed before we really put it in gear.
See, I rode with the moon, see, I rose with the sun. The love of this feeling of feeling in love. The notion itself was a troublesome spell. Need devotion to another, I've made myself. And I've been running from myself now most my whole life. Jesus, when I am becoming is a cynical guy. So I stick to my guns and I keep my head still. When I shoot to kill, and I don't stop till I got my fill. Oh, my feelings failing me. Oh, my feelings failing me. Oh, my feelings failing me. I've been waiting my whole life, facing. Time keeps taking me, time they are changing me. I've been feeling like a stranger inside my own skin. I've been choking on these doses of my own medicine. Threw my way to the wind, escape these chains I'm in. Takes a leap of faith to fall from grace again and again. Swallowing spirits like it's good for the soul. Searching for sights, slippery slope. Losing control of my self-control. My love won't let me go. Oh, oh. Of the places I've been, people I've known, relationships I've been.
All right, well, we've made our way out of Fairbanks. We're about halfway to Circle, Alaska, but there's a couple of cool little trails that shoot off from there. And we've just been kind of hitting these back roads. It's stinking gorgeous. But we've come to this spot right here for a very specific reason. And if you've been following the channel, you know that when we're in Alaska, at least once, we have to try our hand at gold panning. What are we doing?
Finding gold, but don't tell anyone.
And this is one of the areas in which we're allowed to do such, and you can see a lot of activity in here where people have been trying their hand at it. So I'm gonna get some lunch in this first because I'm starving, and then who knows, we'll try and pay for the Airbnb now. What's for lunch?
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
Still keeping it simple.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can see someone's done a little dig right there. Hand that out. Same thing over here. Somebody got really ambitious up in this. Taking the back side of this bank out. The idea being that if there were gold particles, flakes, that they would come to the eddy of the stream and settle up against the bank. That's why most people dig in these areas, from what I understand, not just out in the middle of the stream, because it's just washing away. You're looking for places that the gold collects in more concentrated areas. Theoretically, anyhow. This must be a piece from a more elaborate mining situation here. I think this might be a piece of a boiler, but it's hard to tell. Regardless of whether or not we find any gold here, these camp spots are golden and free and next to a stream, so pretty much perfect. I marked probably 20 or 30 of them, so patrons, when you make your trip up here, you'll have lots of options.
That looks good.
That looks really good.
Is that enough?
That worked. Fancy.
So I like using cabbage over lettuce because it can take some abuse bouncing around on the trail, but still gives you the nice crunch.
Yeah. How you feeling? She's jamming. She can't hear a word I'm saying. She just.
What is it?
How you feeling?
Good.
Good? Like 100%?
Yeah.
Good. Sometimes you just got a Capri Sun.
It's true.
Not sponsored, but call us. Big old beautiful creation right here. Thank you for nursing us.
You're welcome.
More than usual.
Yeah, I guess that's accurate.
Well, thought I was going to do some gold panning, but in true Alaska form, the weather changed,
On a dime.
so we'll see what happens. Well, we're going to let the rain just make up its mind. We're going to go drive around for a bit. We got some more trails to explore, so we'll do so from the shelter of this Nanana Tacoma.
Why does it sound so funny coming out of your mouth?
I don't know. Na 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 na. We're driving na 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 na. All right, let's see what we can get it to. That's like a slushy thing.
It is a slushy rain.
Do you think we could go over here? We can go to farmer's market?
Granted, although I think today was chances for rain.
While the rain was keeping us from panning for a nugget, we began exploring several small trails in the area and stumbled across the remains of an old gold dredge operation. While these oddly shaped mounds of dirt look like something akin to crop circles, they are in fact man-made. After the old-fashioned placer mining methods played out along this and many other rivers and streams of the North Country, the corporate world stepped in and with a whole new method for finding gold. These massive machines called dredges replaced the once peaceful streams of bearded miners and their pans and sluice boxes with roaring engines, clattering steel, and the constant grinding of the bucket line against the bedrock. These round-the-clock operations required 3 shifts of workers to keep them digging and processing, sometimes up to 40 tons of gravel for a single ounce of gold. What these behemoths left behind were mounds and mounds of tailings where the spent dirt and rock were left behind. The only thing more impressive is how they got these 400-ton machines to the middle of the wilderness all the way from the factories back in San Francisco. As we marveled at this feat, we took a turn down another trail and soon spotted something hidden in the bushes. Something just as good as a nugget in our book. We just found gold history. Wow. One of the dredge teeth. Crazy. Look at that. Wow. Look at this big guy. That's crazy. I think we found the remains of the dredge. It just keeps going. Look at that. Dismantled dredgery. Crazy. There's the main arm over there. Alright. It's starting to rain hard now. Yeah. This is kind of wild. Yeah, that's some steel right there. Wow. These are the sluice boxes. These are built in St. Louis and either shipped to Seward or brought in on the Yukon. This one was brought in, I think, from Circle, overland. Wow. So that's the point. That was the whole goal of this type of trip to Alaska, is to just go down every trail and see what we can find. And this one paid off. So freaking cool. So cool. It's the first one of the day.
It is.
Oh, get him. What a behemoth of a machine.
Right?
Crazy. Wow. It's just pieces of steel scattered everywhere, so we gotta be careful about where we drive. You can see more pieces of it up on that side. Wish it wasn't raining so hard. I want to kind of get in there and dig around a little more. I'm already soaked. And having gotten over COVID, I don't want to push my luck with secondary infections. So, play it safe.
All right, well, that got bright. Must have been really dark under there. Productive day, exciting day, very cool day. And we haven't actually traveled very far, but this little side trip on the way to Circle, Alaska has been really cool. Finding all these little offshoots and stuff, and been hunting hard for some more wildlife, but it's kind of few and far between up here. I think it gets hunted pretty heavy, and yeah, everything was a bit too skittish for us today, but good start. We're just thankful that we're feeling so much better so quickly. Caroline is staying warm in the truck. She's in there singing her songs and writing her stories as she loves to do. She's in her own world right now. So we're gonna get some quick and easy dinner going here, crawl in the bed for an early evening, and then get back on track, get back on schedule.
What are you whipping up tonight?
Oh, I'm just gonna slave over some Mexican style rice and chicken.
All right. That sounds delicious for the night.
I'm gonna saute some peppers and add tomatoes and olives. I got some nacho cheese chips. It's gonna be great. All in the jet boil. Just watch.
Just watch.
Smells really good.
It does. I'm gonna eat mine like nachos.
Are you?
Yeah. With chips and stuff.
I like that one. Oh, wait a minute.
What do you got there?
Oh, I was like, what?
You're
Queso.
cheating.
Why?
Oh, no.
I'm elevating.
That's right. That was the whole plan.
That was the whole
Start with a
plan.
base, and then
How can we make it better?
sauce it up.
Just a little dollop will do you. Get those calories. It's going to be a chilly
Cold
night,
night.
so we're going to be burning that.
The raindrop just dropped in here.
Nice and warm in here. I wish we'd grab some firewood or something
That would have been
on the way
nice.
out of Fairbanks. I bet you're gonna like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That'll work. How you feeling, girl?
Perfect.
Good. I can't believe how good I feel. Last time I had COVID, 2 weeks in bed. Really 4 weeks of misery. Well, that was delicious. Matter of fact, Caroline beat us both. It's pretty good, huh? Yeah, you do that again?
Yeah.
Tasty. Not bad. By the way, these mountain houses are about 6 years old. We've had them for quite some time. So it's time to start eating them. But they're just as good as they were from day one.
Yep.
So, cool stuff. Not sponsored, but good stuff.
Good morning. The forecast called for sunshiny days, 60s and 70s, but this is what we woke up to. And it rained mostly all night long, which is okay. I love the sound of rain on the tent, but this is definitely not what we ordered last night. So lots of coffee, and then let's move a little bit. let's head for sunnier areas.
This is our third trip to Alaska, and this time around our strategy is to embrace curiosity and simply explore whatever side trail looks interesting along the way. We've already visited some of the more popular touristy attractions on previous trips, so this time the goal was to travel light, eat simple, and put in as many miles as possible before returning to the lower 48. As you regular viewers know, Sarah is a phenomenal cook and has been known to whip up mind-blowing meals alongside some of the most epic spots across the country. But in the interest of travel, we resorted to pre-cooked or freeze-dried food to make the meal process fast and easy.
How's the little leg bite thing?
Good. I turned it over to kind of warm up the top back up for you.
I gotta be honest though, after one bite of these quote-unquote pre-cooked egg bites, I was questioning our decision just a bit.
You can taste the feta cheese and...
But at least the sausage and coffee was hitting the spot.
Cheers. Get baby girl out and throw some food at her.
I guess so. Guess I'll give her some cereal.
That's all we have to say to that.
Incessant rain and stubborn clouds meant we were packing down wet today. And we're often asked, is it okay to pack down things wet so often? And the answer is yes, so long as you reopen it that evening to prevent mold. On our first trip to Alaska in 2018, we saw 3 weeks straight of rain while living out of our turtleback trailer. But since our 23-0 tent was getting reopened every day, it never grew any mold. The key is to keep them well treated with a waterproof spray, so most of it beads up and rolls off. Speaking of tents, it was last year's Alaska Overlander rental that sparked our interest in the iCamper models. We've been running an iCamper 2.0 since then, and have really enjoyed the footprint, ease of pack down, and setup. On this trip, we got to try the new 3.0 with a few improvements like dual pane windows, spring rod storage bag, relocated rod holders, removable ladder, increased shell storage space, and a few other tweaks that really helped dial it in. Our only complaint is that the mattress feels like a step backwards after several nights of using it, and this might be why they offer an inflatable option. Thankfully, we thought ahead and brought our backup air mattresses to supplement the padding for this trip.
All right. Well, we're all packed down. We're really hoping for some sunshine. He's been teasing us a little at a time. I guess we're just gonna hit the trail for a bit and see if the weather improves. I need to pan for my nugget. I need to find my organic Alaskan nugget, hand-picked from the stream. Lifelong dream right there. All right, let's go see what we can get into. And maybe Mr. Sunshine will rear his beautiful head here in a bit, and we'll have a nice finish to this day. Alaska is known for a very famous pipeline, one which we'll probably be driving alongside shortly, but it's filled with other feats of engineering that just blow my mind. Long before the Alaska pipeline was built alongside the Dalton, engineers were putting together stuff like this, pumping over, I forget, millions of gallons of water every single day to the mining operations. It's just wild. It's just wild. And I know there's lots of talk about a pipeline from the Mississippi to the West Coast
to try and help with the drought issues. We need some of those guys and that ingenuity on the team. Unfortunately, I think their time has passed, but it's just crazy. It's so crazy. Now I know to most of you, this rusty pipe in the middle of the wilderness may seem insignificant, but the ingenious engineering involved to move hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day across 90 miles using sections of open ditches and pipes really becomes astounding when you realize they did this in the 1920s using only gravity and the siphoning action of the pipe sections. There were no electric or gas-powered pumps involved. Think about that the next time you have to siphon fuel or water a couple feet. And just maybe, this technique could help with the engineering obstacles standing in the way of an interconnecting water pipeline for the drought-stricken West. Before we hit the road again, I glanced around and found that we were standing in a patch of ripe blueberries. Another one of our favorite parts about Alaska. And so, we had to spend a few minutes getting fresh handfuls of our favorite roadside Alaskan treat. Just enough tart, too. Carolyn looked at that out. Pardon the flashback, but picking these with Caroline brought back some sweet memories along the Denali Highway from 2018. Just keep your head in for now. Because if a dead limb decides to chase in on you, it could poke you hard. As we made our way along the Steese Highway en route to Circle, we again let curiosity get the better of us and peeled off into the bush to follow a trail that looked enticing. Go.
Up, up, and away. We've left the trees behind too.
I know. These are the kind of surprises we like. Stumbled on this trail, never ever heard of it, and it just keeps going. Come to find out, this is the historical route from Circle to Fairbanks. So we are literally traveling on a road that wagons and dog sleds and miners and all that kind of stuff used to move from the Yukon River at Circle down to Fairbanks. This is crazy. And looking at the map, it goes on and on and on. The historical part. The actual passable part, I don't know. We're gonna go over here to this next little rise, scout it as best as we can, and then head to Circle, top off fuel, get some signal, see what we can find out, and maybe return to see how far we can go on it. This is cool.
Yeah.
You don't find stuff like this in Alaska very often. At least we don't. This is so crazy.
We're gonna set to burn. We got a world to see and all the time to learn. Oh, let's set out on our road. We'll see how far we can go. I got a hold of film, and it's in the shape of you. Dirt under my nails, the strings coming loose. Oh, let's set out on our road. Let's see how far we can go. Through a car window, to the top of the world, I'm holding on. We'll see how far we can go. We'll see how far we can go.
Alright, so we were not expecting such an extensive opportunity when it comes to a trail. We don't know much about this trail. We don't know anything about this trail, other than the fact that we've gone about 3 miles on it. So we're at exactly half the tank right now. So we're going to bounce into Central, try to get a little bit of signal. I've already sent a satellite text off to Craig to see if he knows anything about this place. Top everything off, and then maybe, no promises, we'll see how far we can go on it. If reports come back that it's impassable, you know, not much further from what we've already experienced, we'll call it good. But what a cool find. What an awesome find. And there's a couple epic camps out here that we'll have to revisit when it's not nasty. And now we got more clouds moving in, we'll already move it in, and it just gives it that moody Alaska vibe. You just never know what kind of mood she's gonna be in, but it's alright because she's pretty. She might be moody, but she sure is pretty. Somebody actually lives up here. Look at that. Not 5 minutes after I recorded that with the crazy clouds and stuff. Look. And that would be Craig. He's helping us research over satellite text messaging. Gosh. If you don't like the weather in Alaska, wait 5 minutes, because it'll change.
While our fuel wasn't dangerously low just yet, we knew that there was still some ground to cover before we hit the next fuel stop, and didn't want to commit to travel down an unknown route without first topping off. So, we backtracked to the main road and made our way towards the historical town of Circle, Alaska, located on the banks of the Yukon River, where we knew fuel should be available. Or at least we hoped it would be available. A few hours and one gorgeous drive later, we unceremoniously arrived in Circle, Alaska. Established in 1893 when gold was discovered in the nearby Birch Creek, miners from the 40 Mile River in Canada were grub-staked by none other than my own relative Jack McHouston, who later built a 2-story log store and warehouse in this very town. I'm not gonna lie, it seriously gives me chills every time I cross paths with Jack, and this is no exception. You'll have to watch our 2018 adventures in the Yukon to see where I first stumbled upon this family member who historians call the father of the Yukon. It's already cool enough to chase gold history, but to know McHouston played a huge role in its success, it's just simply incredible. Circle also served as an important supply point for riverboats making their way to other gold towns along the mighty Yukon, and at one point had a bustling population of 1,200 people before the strikes in the Klondike and Nome cleared out most of the inhabitants as they headed off for fresh opportunities. Today, only about 60 people live in this remote town, and it has to be expected for such a small community. The hours for the fuel station and general store are somewhat sparse, even though the proprietors live upstairs. As we pulled in to top off, we found that our next window of service wasn't until 10 a.m. the next morning. And so, after some careful calculations, we estimated that if we drove conservatively, we could make our way back to Central Alaska, where, rumors had it, there was at least one last chance at a fuel pump.
Pick it up. There we go.
How did I carry this when I was younger?
Just make sure
Bring it on over. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Squeeze it. All the way. Squeeze hard. There you go. Now let it go. Now let it go. Okay. Make sure it doesn't fall out. Stay right there. Okay. Hang it up.
pick it back up in there.
There you go. Good job.
I almost tripped over that.
All right. Well, that was about as close as we've gotten to run out of fuel so far. Unfortunately, the little fuel station up there in Circle was closed. But these guys here,
So,
they were going to be around for a while. The grocery store slash bar slash laundromat slash fuel station, that was a place to hang out apparently. There was 20 or 30 folks in there. Very Alaska experience. I'd love to just sat down and listen to the stories that were being told there. But we're gonna go find camp now. A long day. Didn't intend it to be a long day, but as per usual, that's what happened. Thankfully, in Alaska, we got all kinds of daylight.
Especially now the sun's kind of coming out.
Yeah, so, all right. We're going to go take a swing at this little idea that we got and see what happens.
Since our travels had yet again run a bit long, we opted to hit what I hoped to be an alternate route along this section of the Steese Highway. The map was pretty clear that this was a legal, open route, so we hoped to make short work of it and camp at the other end where we could skip on over to the trail we bailed on earlier in the day.
So we've taken this little back road just trying to find camp, and there's a lot of mining activity out here. So many mining claims, and we're kind of just driving through them now. This is still a legal road, but it just goes right through the middle of some of these guys' spots. It's crazy.
Little did we know that things would get a bit hairier than we had hoped for, and our travel slowed to a crawl as we picked our way through a very old, mostly abandoned trail. Now, I do try to film everything I can, but we've been on the road for 13 hours, and it was simply time to push through and find camp. So you just have to take my word that this was one touch-and-go trail. After another couple hours, the trail disappeared, and we found ourselves following a faint set of four-wheeler tracks along the creek bed in hopes of picking it back up.
Well, this trail has just gotten worse and worse and worse, and now it's, I don't even know where it is. I'm thinking we're probably going to pull the plug on this one. Just gently working our way down this creek bed because that's where the road is. Being real gentle on everything. Trying not to get hung on anything. And where should I turn around? I just don't see anything hopeful ahead. Alright, well, we found the invisible trail. All thanks to our handy dandy drone. You'd think that it's just a tool for getting epic scenery. And in fact, it's actually an impeccable scouting tool. And I'm just scanning ahead like, does this trail get any better? Does it get any better? And I zoom out, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's a trail about 50 yards over there. Again, the ATV tracks are just misleading. So now we're above the creek and working our way down something that is definitely much more substantial. Fingers crossed this loop continues. It doesn't turn into a long 10 p.m. out and back. Back in the river again.
Not as deep as I thought.
No, not bad. Just for
All right, well, we found camp. This is
At 10, we should add.
at 11.
11.
This is a classic example of what I don't like to do. It's one of those trails that you think just a little bit further around the bend. It's getting a little, nope, it's getting worse. It's getting worse, getting tighter. So we finally found this nice high spot along the river here, and it's getting dark enough that I don't want to make a stupid mistake. I don't want to high center us in one of these river crossings. So just gonna play it safe, get some sleep, throw some fresh eyes on it in the morning, probably send the drone up first thing, scout ahead. We know we can go that way. I don't know if we can go that way. So this is not my favorite position to be in right now, between a rock and a hard trail. So we're gonna make the best of it though. Like I said, get some sleep, reboot, refresh, fresh eyes in the morning. We have no rain in the forecast, so I'm not worried about the river levels. We'll go from there. Stay tuned. I am bummed though. I drove through some really cool stuff without filming it, just because I wanted to get my family in a safe spot for the night. So I might have to revisit this one once we confirm it's actually passable. But if we have to go the other way, you'll get to see it anyhow. All right, bedtime.
That's so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Put your hand down beside one of them.
That's almost as big as my hand.
Now, for the big question. Press on or retrace our steps? And for this, we called on our eye in the sky. While our drone is best known for getting epic landscapes and travel footage, it's also an indispensable scouting tool in situations like this. The trail that we'd been following was continuing to narrow and at times completely disappear as the river shifted to follow its tracks. I know scale is tough to tell from the air, but these trails were getting tight even for an ATV, and the Alaska Overlander rental policy was clear. We weren't supposed to be adding scratches or trail damage. This trail was clearly about to rearrange the vinyl graphics and leave its autograph in the paint on the sections ahead. Not to mention its touring setup meant that we didn't have a winch to extract ourselves if things got truly gnarly. But I could certainly see some light at the end of the tunnel. with just enough hints of an established roadway working its way along the hillside just about 1.5 miles ahead. And so, with our tails between our legs, we decided to turn around with promises to return one day in our own rig, armed with chainsaws, pruning shears, and maybe a couple more support rigs to see this historical route return to its former glory and linked up with the highway. Hey, if you live in Alaska and you're looking for a new trail to explore, I highly recommend you put a group of friends together to help keep this gorgeous route alive and passable for generations to come. As it currently stands, I don't think it's going to be around much longer. After reining in our curiosity, kissing our damage deposit goodbye, and backtracking just a bit, we were rewarded with a fleeting glimpse of a young black bear before turning west and making our way to the next route on our list. This time, something a bit more accessible and iconic.
All right, folks. Well, busy couple days. Those trails were incredible. I'll give it that. But it was a lot of work. We got tighter and tighter and tighter, and we had to pull out. We had to pull out because we didn't know what was ahead. We didn't have proper gear for cutting trees. It would have been great to have another rig with us as well, so we played it safe and just enjoyed what we could get to without scratching up Craig's beautiful rig too much. Now, in case you're wondering, these are built to be more of a touring setup. There's plenty to see in Alaska without getting as crazy as what we did, so keep that in mind when you do rent one of these. It doesn't mean you can just bounce off into the wilderness and scratch it all to pieces like we did. So sorry, Craig, for that one. But anyhow, I think there's a lot of potential up there. That's going to mean another trip back to Alaska. Doggone it. Oh well. But now, without even catching a breath, we made a right-hand turn and we are headed north on the Dalton Highway. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
think the Duke boys built this here road.
Yeah, right.
Hold on, Flash, we're in hot pursuit.
Welcome to the Dalton Highway. This is our second trip along one of the more famous roads in the North Country. And while we had planned to mostly explore out-of-the-way places on this trip, you simply don't come this far north without completing its length to Deadhorse. While our last drive along this road in 2018 was mostly shrouded in low clouds, fog, and constant rain, this time we were seeing the land in all its glory, coated in rays of golden sunshine. Again. Round two, 4 years later.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
So we're back to where we started. So dancing in the garden, underneath the stars, just hoping in our hearts maybe we'll get it right this time. A feeling I can't explain it. At least I think it's complicated. So the black clouds or the distant sounds encroaching thunder. Yes, I know our days are numbered, and we're not gonna get any younger. Hit it out of focus. You're falling for a moment. Take note of the unnoticed. Let go of the motive. Stop and smell the roses. Long as there's life in my lungs, I can't seem to separate you from the air I breathe. Some sounds just to find out what it really means. This is everything, this is nothing. This is something in between. Wake up, my love, rise with the sun, taking the missing pieces of all that once was yet to come. I know there must be some reason, some objective truth. Some semblance of hope, or at least something to hold on to.
Looks like the exact same camping spot.
We just passed
Yeah,
back there.
like, wait a minute, is there a glitch?
Oh yeah, I forgot about No Name.
No Name Creek. Why is that the No Name Creek?
Doesn't have a name.
Why is it called that?
No matter where we travel, we're always keeping a lookout for any wildlife encounters, and our travels here in Alaska had already captured a beautiful lynx which we thought couldn't be topped, until we saw some movement ahead on the side of the road. What we first thought to be a fox, to our amazement, turned out to actually be a beautiful wolf pup soaking up the last bit of warmth from the sunshine. At first, we thought this poor guy was orphaned, but after carefully listening to our surroundings, we could hear more pups just off the edge of the road playing in the underbrush, yipping and wrestling at the mouth of their den. This was a brave pup though, and she wasn't shy about sharing this moment with us. This little girl was a smart one too, and knew at the sound of tires on the dirt, it was time to bail off to safety while the big trucks passed. We sat and watched this little lady until she finally wandered off into the bush, away from home. It seems that curiosity also runs strong in her blood too.
What did we just see?
Elephant!
Elephant?
I said wolf.
Oh.
goodness. Wolf.
I can't believe that. I was convinced it was a fox for quite a while.
Well, yeah, we just pulled up and like that's what you expect on an Dalton, right?
Yeah.
But
Not the
little did
case.
you know.
I know.
Case. Wolf howl. 1, 2,
2, 3.
All right. Well, this camp was a little less eventful in finding. Actually, it was more eventful. It was better, I should say. A lot easier. Wolf pup on the way to camp. You can't beat that. And, you know, halfway decent views. Eh. I mean, come on. This is a new spot for us. This is awesome.
Oh. Hi! Hello!
Because I didn't think we would have to.
What's for dinner tonight?
You and Caroline are going to share lasagna, and then I'm going to have beef with quinoa.
Beef with quinoa.
And then I'm going to heat up some green beans, because I just feel like we need a vegetable.
Has this not been like the perfect fast and furious way to get some food in you?
Yeah, it really has. It has been so nice, especially considering I'm just done with the cold.
Yeah.
We just having done so much winter camping last year and then not really getting a nice warm weather camp in yet, to be honest.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm just done with the cold.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I just want to eat something hot and then climb up in the tent and rest.
That works.
We've learned from years of overland travel that ups and downs will simply come. Some days will be smooth, while others will make you question almost everything. It's how you adapt and overcome the less than ideal situations that expand your skills, mindset, and experience. Sometimes that means turning around, and sometimes it means pressing forward. Knowing the difference can have huge implications. In remote Alaska, the risks are high for a single rig with only basic gear on a forgotten trail, and so it's best to live to explore another day. More often than not, you'll find something even more exciting on the next trail, and in our case today, that's exactly what happened.
Dinner served. How's your,
It's pretty good.
pretty good?
Yeah. I hope I can find the beef.
Where's the beef?
Yeah.
How'd you sleep?
Good.
Yeah? Good. All right, well, good morning, folks. We're packed down, ready to roll. Amazing sleep last night, and surprisingly, woke up to this bluebird day here along the Dalton Highway, which doesn't happen very often. So, time to get on the trail, see what we can get into. It's already off to an awesome start, though. Let's roll.
200 miles north of Fairbanks, we crossed over the Arctic Circle for the third time in our overlanding career. There are only 2 roads in North America that go this far north. One in Canada, called the Dempster Highway, leading to Tuktoyaktuk on the shores of the Arctic Ocean, and this one, ending at Dead Horse, 299 miles further north. There are very few roads in the world that cross this latitude, and we plan to one day travel as many of them as possible. Sadly, our plans to cross over in Norway were derailed in 2020 when the pandemic halted our international travels. But for now, we're excited to be here again in the Arctic, and it only gets us more motivated for future adventures north of the Circle. Not long after our photo op, we were greeted by a very healthy bull moose making his way along the marshy areas of the tundra.
Finally, a bull moose.
Nice. Waterfowl is also abundant here, with millions of ducks, geese, and swans migrating here every spring to raise their young in the myriads of puddles, ponds, and lakes before heading south again, flying sometimes thousands of miles to their wintering grounds in the lower 48, Mexico, Central America, and even the Hawaiian Islands. The next few miles were a reminder that even the tundra is not immune to fire. This area was apparently scorched due to a lightning strike just a few weeks before we arrived, but thankfully it was mostly extinguished for our visit. After a few hours of travel, we arrived at Coldfoot Camp to top off our fuel and partake of one of the best hamburgers north of the Arctic Circle. Founded in 1898 when thousands of eager prospectors arrived here due to rumors of nearby gold finds, Slate Creek, as it was originally named, quickly sprung up and boasted a gambling hall, 2 roadhouses, 7 saloons, and all the amenities that environment implies. But the town was later moved in 1912 to Wiseman, 13 miles away, when new gold discoveries drew away the miners. It briefly boomed again in the 1970s during the pipeline construction, but quickly became a ghost town until Iditarod champion Dick Mackey set up a hamburger stand in an old school bus for the truckers, moving supplies along the haul road. Over time, the truckers began to help build a more permanent structure by dropping off extra materials and hammering a few nails after having their delicious hamburger. Over time, a proper building was completed, and now this halfway mark between Fairbanks and Dead Horse is the perfect stopping point for weary, hungry travelers.
Hearing this.
How's that?
There's the mountain now.
Hey!
Just across the street is the gates of the Arctic Visitor Center, where you can get an educational look at the Arctic tundra, its wildlife, history, and intense weather swings. This is definitely a must-stop visit on the Dalton Highway.
Cloudberries.
With our tank full of dead dinosaurs and our bellies topped off with a perfectly cooked burger, chicken fingers, and hand-cut french fries, we were ready for the next section of the journey, and probably our favorite stretch, up and over Adigan Pass to the North Slope.
My home is not a highway, a straight road to follow, one well-known lone pavements I roam through wide open space with no maps or foot tracks, no turn backs. I'm in deep. I'm still out here and I'm still moving along, still wondering. I'm still at it. I'm still keeping on, still wondering. I'm not lost, I'm still just wondering. My aim is distant, far away. I'm believing in long reaching. I'm leading and I'm hanging on. I'm still out here and I'm still moving along, still wondering. I'm still at it. I'm still keeping on, still wondering. I am not lost, I'm still just wondering where I go. I am not certain that I know I will be fine. Where I go, I am not certain that I know. All in good time, all in good time. And if this is being lost, then may I never be found.
With our traverse of the pass completed, it was time to make camp in one of our favorite places in the world, Galbraith Lake. While its altitude and latitude make it a chilly stop no matter the time of the year, we've paused here because this is a sentimental stop for us to revisit a magical moment from 2018 when we first traveled this road. Get out of here.
Thank you.
Special delivery.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, wait. I forgot to pay you.
Oh,
There.
thanks.
Welcome.
All right, folks. Well, welcome to camp yet again. Another long day. Not as long as the previous days. I think the last one before this was 11 and a half hours on trail. Today, only about 8. So, yeah, kick back and relax today. Hot. Mostly kicked COVID's booty, but we're still feeling the effects a little bit, so some hot echinacea tea while we enjoy the view. The girls hunkered back in there. Caroline's working on her junior ranger badge for the Gates of the Arctic, so I'm not going to interrupt that. Hopefully we can swing by the visitor center and snag that puppy on the way south. But first, you know, northbound to Dead Horse. I guess let's get a little bit of sleep. I don't think we're going to cook. The hamburger and chicken fingers are sticking with pretty good, so maybe a little snacky poo and then nappy poo before heading north. Oh, and just a side note, I actually got to meet a Lifestyle Overland fan who's camping right over there. What's the odds, right? Great talking to you, Troy. Hope you enjoy the rest of your trip as well. Maybe we'll see you in Montana one day. But what a place. What a place. You guys remember this? How about a little B-roll montage from this spot 4 years ago? You having fun?
Yeah. Do you want to take some video of me holding the camera and watching you run?
Go for it. Good job.
Hi, Mia, say hi.
That was like 5 seconds. It is January 3rd. No, just kidding. It's actually August 7th.
Let's do that.
See this morning. It's called the hover breakfast.
We had an ambitious plan today, so another quick breakfast of coffee, pre-cooked sausage, and egg bites would have to hold us over until we could make Dead Horse, where we plan to hit the buffet at the Aurora Hotel.
How'd the little hover method work?
I think it's gonna do just fine.
It warmed it right up.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we were met with low, moody Alaskan clouds instead of that rare sunshine we'd been enjoying the past few days. Soon, visibility was down to 100 yards, and we picked our way through the road maintenance, mud, and thick fog as we made our way along the north slope.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Are they still hot?
Yeah.
Did that save you last night? Good.
Thankfully, the worst of the fog lifted after about 100 miles of travel, and we began to keep a sharp eye out for some of our favorite Alaskan wildlife, known as the muskox, or hippie buffalo as we jokingly call them. And as if on cue, these otherworldly creatures appeared on our horizon. These stocky, long-haired Arctic animals were built for the world's harshest environments, with bulls weighing up to 800 pounds and standing as high as 5 feet at their humped shoulder. While both male and females grow imposing horns, the males have a much thicker set of headgear, which comes in handy during the rut, or mating season, where they fight for dominance over a harem of females. With 4 inches of thick horn and another 3 inches of heavy skull, these guys are the definition of hard-headed and often take 15 to 20 high-speed collisions from up to 50 yards apart to determine who is the head bull.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When threatened by predators, these family-oriented herds have adapted to form a wall or circular fortress depending on the number of attackers and place the weakest of the herd in the center for protection. Wolves and bears have to think long and hard before attempting to attack in this situation. Even being within striking distance can be dangerous for predators, since these fierce animals often sally forth from their circle and attack when the opportunity arises. While much of the Arctic wildlife tends to sit out the winter in hibernation, these tough beasts live in the wide open, relying instead on their dual layer of insulating fur, an inner civet which is warmer than wool and softer than cashmere. When this layer is shed during the spring, it's actually collected from the tundra to be made into sweaters, scarves, and mittens. While this is a native range for the muskox, the entire Alaskan population was wiped out by the early 1900s, due in part to years of unregulated fur trade. Thankfully, in the 1930s, efforts were taken by the U.S. government to reintroduce this majestic animal, and 34 animals were relocated from Greenland to build a new herd. After over 90 years of conservation efforts, about 5,000 muskox call Alaska and its surrounding islands home. There aren't many animals in the world that carry themselves with such confidence in one of the most dangerous places on Earth. We were both amazed and thankful to see these old friends on our second trip up the Dalton.
Or porcupine.
Not long after our muskox encounters, we found another incredible Arctic traveler, the caribou. While we had seen a few herds scattered about during our 2 weeks of exploring Alaska, none of our sightings were quite as impressive as this. Alaskans rely on the 32 different caribou herds, numbering about 750,000 animals for sustenance, and the first archery hunt had just begun as we arrived in the outskirts of Deadhorse. Funny enough, the hunters were pushing some of the wiser caribou towards civilization for protection. In this case, right into the tundra surrounding Deadhorse, where we happened to be driving and filming. Have you ever seen a caribou swim? Well, we hadn't until now. We watched several plunge into the river and then run straight for us. Fun fact, you may have heard these members of the deer family called reindeer. And while I'm sure Santa would prefer these elegant wild breeds, reindeer are in fact the domesticated cousins in the family when it comes to Alaskan definition. However, just so you're thoroughly confused, elsewhere in the world they're called reindeer, wild or domestic, it's the same name. Adult bulls like these can weigh up to 350 and even sometimes up to 400 pounds, while females average between 175 to 225 pounds. They're the only member of the deer family where both the male and the female grow antlers. Caribou are known to migrate over 400 miles during their yearly travels. In the late spring, they head for windy coastal areas and mountain ranges to avoid the insects and heat. Then, in the fall, spread out to the lower areas to feed on willow leaves and mushrooms to bulk up for winter. After an exciting last few northbound miles, we arrived unceremoniously in Dead Horse, Alaska. Now, to be fair, this is one of those moments where you have to remind yourself that overlanding isn't about the destination, but the journey. If you begin this trip expecting the end of the Dalton to grant you some sense of accomplishment, you've already missed the point. The Dalton experience is found in every mile going north and south, not necessarily here at its halfway mark. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we've learned to make ourselves at home just about anywhere we find ourselves. And so we jumped in line with the oilfield workers at the Aurora Hotel Buffet and settled in for an eclectic lunch while taking in the scenery.
What else did you get?
I got salad.
You got a salad? Getting all healthy on us?
Oh, there's mayonnaise right over there, Caroline. You want to grab one for your sandwich? And whenever the day comes, it comes.
What'd you get?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
And Dad got the coffee. I got Coke syrup.
There's a bear walking around out here somewhere.
Really?
Really?
Why would they say that right there?
Let me know to look around when you get out there.
Yeah, they're just walking out.
Might steal your ice cream.
The bear comes to learn how to ice cream.
Maybe it's tasty in there.
Yeah.
It really how warm it was. I feel like came out here on a bird.
Oh, I see a deer. I saw a caribou. Drop it.
No trip to Dead Horse is complete without a visit to the combination general store, hardware supply, and post office, where our daughter Caroline got to send off a postcard to family back in Tennessee, just to say hello from the northernmost point by vehicle in the United States.
Hi. May we get a postcard stamp, please?
You show me your postcard?
Okay. Alright, I'll take that and it'll go out to the gift of tomorrow Monday. Cool, thank you. Nice job. Good job, nicely done. We didn't know we were going to be open on Saturday, and I'm like, oh, it's 4th of July. Oh, cute. Thank you.
You guys have a great day.
You too.
We also joined hundreds of others by leaving our mark on the growing sticker wall just outside. So be sure and keep an eye out for the Lifestyle Overland Topo Bear if you're in the area. Now, if you're wondering why we didn't take the shuttle the last few miles to Prudhoe Bay proper and touch the Arctic Ocean, we actually already did that back in 2018 and felt that that was enough for us for now. Plus, at $80 a head for a ride past oilfield equipment to a beach lined with rusty drums, let's just say we weren't too enthusiastic about waiting for a scheduled time slot. Maybe next time though. Now, it was time to top off with some of the most expensive fuel in the United States. Somewhat ironically, a mere stone's throw from an oil field pumping hundreds of thousands of gallons of crude oil southbound. At $8.12 a gallon, this was the most painful but rewarding fill-up in a very long time. And yes, I know my European friends will chime in here, but it's all relative, right? Our window for Alaskan exploration was quickly coming to a close, and so we still had a long day of travel ahead of us to finish this road and begin our trek south for a meetup with some friends in Central Alaska.
All right, ladies. That means the Dalton is done for the second time. Actually, I should rephrase that. 1.5 times, because we still got to go the other way. Dead Horse, the Dead Horse experience does not define the Dalton. If you allow it to define the Dalton, you'll find it a letdown. Think of Dead Horse as the halfway mark, because you have to turn around and drive it all back the other way. And it's a phenomenal ride, y'all. I had forgotten how beautiful it was. And to be fair, our first trip through, it was just raining so much that we didn't get to see a lot of the natural beauty that is along this route. But I don't know. I've always said if you have to choose between the Dempster and the Dalton, choose the Dempster. But I don't know. There's just so many beautiful places along this route. It's a toss-up, at least today. I guess we'll have to go run the Dempster again next and figure that out. But feels good. We're tired though. We've been making some ground, and now we got to boogie south even harder. So let's go.
So there's this trail that leads to a mountain.
Yeah.
Can I make like a fox sitting on the mountain?
What you working on?
I'm making a junior ranger park.
Staring at this hole in the sky, see I keep wasting my time wondering of all the places I could be. I am not who I was in the dreams we dare to dream when we are young. One day we wake up and we become something different. We are the sums of our decisions, fruit of our ambitions, a grain of sand, a drop in the ocean. Oh, what a trying notion. Lately these days I can't help but getting this feeling I am sinking, and the ground beneath my feet is starting to believe me. See, I try to run, but I don't know how. My thoughts are made of doubt, and the silence steals the words from my mouth. I guess I have not been myself for some while now. My love, can you hear me? Can you hear me? See, my heart is strong, but my will is wearing weary. I said I'm leaving come morning. I said I'm leaving come morning. I'll be gone, and it won't be long till I belong. This heavy heart is missing you around, missing you around, but I won't let it weigh me down. Oh, this heavy heart is missing you around, missing you around, but I won't let it weigh me down. This time is taking its time on me. Its time on me.
Well, it's been another long day, but well worth it. We've been on the trail since 8 a.m. It is now 11:30 p.m. And we have returned back to the place we camped 2 days ago, positioning ourselves so that we can get up and make another cannonball run first thing in the morning to meet up with Craig and his daughter so that we can go on a couple more awesome, lesser known Alaskan trails. But we're exhausted. We thought we were going to have kind of a relaxing trip up here with 3 whole weeks to explore with, and then COVID ate our margin, just gobbled it up. So we're making as much time as we can, but it's awesome. I absolutely love it up here, guys. Love it.
Blow up the house, said Harry, but they weren't listening. I suppose we could take him to the zoo, said Aunt Petunia slowly, and leave him in the
Who are those people?
That's Claire.
Oh, yes!
In a quarter mile, you will arrive at your destination.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, Caroline.
Perfect timing.
You ready to hit a trail? It's Milo. What's up, buddy?
He's the most excited of everybody.
I bet. I bet.
After linking up, we headed into the surrounding hills where Craig wanted to show us some unique landscape before making our way to a spot he promised would be an epic camp.
All right, well, we have finally met up with Craig, Claire, and Milo, making our way to one of their more favorite campsites in this part of Alaska. Needless to say, we're pretty exhausted. I think we've covered, what, 1,000 miles in 2.5 days, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. We're pretty close to.
So, yeah, looking forward to getting in camp and relaxing for a little bit. This is gorgeous.
We took a short hike up a wash and entered into a landscape that would seem to be from the desert of Utah. Well, if it wasn't for the lush grass, green trees, and steady rain. Turns out, these hills have been home to Alaska's primary coal source for nearly 100 years. In fact, the nearby coal mine is the only operational coal mine in the state and steadily puts out 1 million tons of coal every year to keep Alaska's 5 power and heat generation plants running smoothly. We stumbled across a good reminder alongside the trail that huge predators frequent these lands, with an old kill mostly picked clean by bear, wolves, and other opportunistic wildlife. Scale might be hard to tell on your screen, but this moose was as big as most horses, which certainly makes you think twice about your surroundings. So this is what they call an Alaskan gun range?
A little bit of history mixed in with something to shoot at.
Wow. Relics and rifles. Looks like a 350, maybe. Oh, and there's a 40 series, sure enough. Wow. Boy, he's seen better days. Oh man, look at that. And the heater? Man, there's some good parts on there.
Heater with a heater.
Oh, there's the old guy over there. Next on the tour was the remnants of a homestead junkyard, complete with some slightly used classics that were well permeated with bullet holes and fairly picked clean of usable parts. I wonder what stories these old beasts could tell of Alaska from the 60s and 70s.
Really? Oh, that's bear poop. It isn't be fresh.
We also came across more bear sign in the area with a fresh pile of scat along the footpath, which had us keeping our heads on a swivel and the conversation nice and loud as we picked our way through the brush. stories this thing could tell.
Feel solid?
Feel solid? I'm not too worried. I'm driving a rental.
No, that's not fair.
We'll follow you.
Get good footage either way, right?
Yeah. Finally, it was time to see this so-called epic camp Craig had been telling us about for several months. We were about to find out if it met the Lifestyle Overland definition of epic. And spoiler alert, it did, on all counts. What is it, Milo? What's for dinner?
I'm actually gonna cook something.
Oh, what?
Yeah, only tonight though.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night it's back to just the basics.
Okay.
But I saw these chicken skewers.
Looks good.
And then I'm gonna do some of one of our meals, but I'm gonna do it as a side, so it's a quinoa bowl.
All right.
And then I've got some mixed vegetables warming up in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Full-fledged meal
like
here.
a real actual meal this time.
Well, here's a view that deserves it. Right?
I would agree. You look cute with your pigtails, Boo Boo.
We're doing Elsa and the Dump Dump.
Oh, are you Anna?
Yeah.
We got fire, baby.
He's a jalapeno caribou.
Ooh, oh, that's a nice knife you got there.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
Brooke gave us some.
I'll take the small guy down there.
That looks good though.
That looks really good.
Jalapeno caribou stick. Oh wow! Right out the gate. Well, I don't know if it gets much worse than this, but you do what you got to do, right? Definitely got some more rain moving in. Further we drive south, the rainier it's been getting. What's up, buddy? You smell that? Oh yeah. So I didn't get to film a significant event that took place, but I will let you know I survived. That ultra realistic shot where it looked as if you were getting splashed by water,
You did.
I took one for the team. I took one for you. Mama Bear back here. Every now and then,
I thought
she
I'd
thinks
be
she's a
funny.
comedian.
And I didn't realize it was that deep and gonna splash that hard.
She
so.
just kind of edged over to the side of that puddle and goosed it just a little bit. Well, what I ended up with was a tidal wave of brown, muddy Alaskan water. I realized what was happening too late, and my mouth was about this wide. I felt that puddle hit the back of my throat, went up in my sinuses. I thought somebody had dunked me. I hope the camera survives, but it was a cool shot. It was a cool shot. Just a little misjudgment on the amount of power necessary to make it look cool. Might have overshot that just a little bit, but we laugh now. Probably couldn't have filmed what I said afterwards though. You know what they say about paybacks? I'm a wiser man than that. This is a real meal.
With rain showers blowing in and out of the valley, a delicious meal on our plates, and good friends to share the epic view with, we yet again experienced one of those moments that just make you sigh and whisper, Alaska, under your breath. There's just no place on earth quite like it, and we felt like we could stay on this mountaintop forever. But Alaska, being a wild and unpredictable beauty, had different plans for us, as we were to soon find out.
Well, it's become abundantly clear we need to relocate. Epic views, epic winds. Excuse me. Let's get out of here.
With every exposed epic camp comes a risk. While Craig had never had any issues with wind in this spot, he had failed to factor in the lifestyle overland curse of finding wind at just the wrong time. And so we quickly broke camp, which was relatively easy since, knowing our history with wind, we'd already packed most of our gear in preparation for the worst. After retreating to the cover of the conifer forest, we began scouting side trails in search of a spot big enough for our group, while Craig stayed on the main trail with the trailer. It's a good thing too, since we nearly got stuck multiple times in the soft mud. But thankfully, we found a decent enough patch of bare ground and quickly reset for a few more hours of sleep.
Well, it's about 4:15 in the morning now, and we found camp again. This time, no wind. Almost got stuck trying to back out of a trail. But let's try this. Una más. All right.
Dadgum neighbors are loud. Got it. Gotta be that guy.
I have to be that guy. The beauty of Quiet of Alaska.
Yeah.
Johnny got hit by a U-S. You got stuck on your butt, Milo.
I wish I was turdy again.
Well, good morning, afternoon, whatever it is. Rough night last night, needless to say. But it was worth that epic view for a little bit. Just wasn't expecting that 3 a.m. wake-up call. Thankfully, this spot wasn't too far away. A little bit issue getting here, almost got stuck, but we made it. And we got some extra sleep, so we're feeling a lot better. Now we're gonna pack it down. Craig's gonna drop his trailer, and we got a little trail to go run. Little out and back, as is most common here in Alaska. So let's hit the trail and just continue to pour coffee down our gullets. Twitching?
Just a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was your night?
Oh, it was a rough night.
Yeah?
No, it was too windy for me and too many flashbacks of times we've stayed in the wind. We ended up moving at what, 3:30?
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, Caroline's not going back to sleep now.
Thankfully she did.
She did. We all got maybe 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, better than nothing, but it's
That's so true.
not great.
No, it's not great.
Well, we're how many days in now? 17, 18 days.
Yeah.
So I think we're pushing probably about 2,000 miles traveled in Alaska. And fought off COVID on top of that, so
Yeah.
quite the eventful trip.
That's good.
But it's still sad to see it coming to a close. We've still got a couple more days, a couple more adventures to hit, but this is the part of the trip where you go,
Yeah, it's the tail end.
one last hurrah. Come on, rally.
We're coasting.
Rally. Maybe 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day.
Wow.
Whatever it takes, baby. Whatever it takes.
Don't mess it up.
What you got?
Blueberries.
Nice.
There's like a lot of them and they're really good. Ow.
Thank you.
Here's another. They're usually better in August. That's when you usually go picking. Though they might be a little sour. But
Oh,
here you
okay. I'll share with you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
They're a little sour, but the texture's great.
Mm.
They're gonna be perfect.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The skin is so tender.
Tastes like Alaska.
Welcome to the Stampede Trail. This route was originally developed by prospectors in 1903, making their way to the gold strike in the Kantishna region. Later in the 1930s, miner Earl Pilgrim used the trail to access his antimony claims, which is an element used in fireproofing, batteries, bearings, and solder. For many years, the only way to move this material was in the winter using cat trains, consisting of dozers and sleds loaded with ore and skidded across the frozen, snow-covered tundra to the railway near present-day Healy, Alaska.
That'll work. It wasn't for the rental.
Then in 1960, the newly formed state of Alaska began construction of a road to the mines in hopes to ensure year-round access to the important mining site. But construction was halted after only 1 year, after 47.5 miles of roadway had been completed. No bridges were built, and in 1963, all maintenance on the route stopped entirely. Needless to say, it didn't take long for Wild Alaska to begin returning the land to its original consistency, and it wasn't long before most of the road disappeared into the tundra and bogs. But crazy enough, the story doesn't end there for this road.
Okay, I will do.
Out here, everything just eats you.
It does. Mosquitoes are the biggest hazard.
Dang, dang, diggity dang. Here it comes.
Got distracted.
In the early summer of 1992, a lone nomadic traveler made his way across this snow-covered road, having hitchhiked across the lower 48 before arriving here in the Alaskan wilderness. With few supplies on his back and a heart overflowing with adventure, he began walking west and eventually stumbled upon an abandoned bus. This relic from past public service, marked Fairbanks Bus 142, had been hastily converted into a sort of living quarters 32 years before, while crews worked to build the Stampede Road. When it was time to pull out, they found the bus had a broken axle, and so left it behind for hunters and travelers to use as a refuge. Complete with a wood stove and 2 beds, this was the perfect place for a lone traveler, looking to escape the noise of the world and settle down for a bit, especially since the rivers were now in flood from the summer snowmelt and there would be no traveling east or west until the waters receded. Unfortunately, a lack of food, poor preparation, and no outside help led to the tragic death of this individual, and his body was later found by hunters lying on one of the beds. The man's name was Chris McCandless, aka Alexander Supertramp, and his story soon became a national phenomenon when Outside Magazine first told the tale of a wanderer found in the Alaskan wilderness. Later, his story would make it to the big screen and into the hearts of even more adventure seekers who could at least empathize with his desire for something wild. Many people would attempt to follow in his footsteps in the following years and hike to the remote location of Fairbanks Bus 142. Some even lost their lives trying when flooded rivers proved to be more than they could ford. Eventually, the state of Alaska, along with the National Guard, opted to move the now immortalized bus to a more accessible location in Fairbanks, where mourners, admirers, and fellow adventure seekers could pay their respects without endangering themselves or the rescue crews who have been called all too often to save well-intentioned yet ill-prepared hikers. If you want to hear a more detailed story of this adventure seeker, then look up Into the Wild for the book or movie.
Yeah, that's like 4 feet. I don't think we want to give that a go. Maybe you could.
It would be fine. It's a rental, you know.
It's a rental.
After only 13 of the original 47.5 miles, the terrain went from rocky to swampy, and the next water crossing was about 4 foot deep with a muddy bottom. And so, since the owner of the rental was with us, we decided to turn it around. I'm just kidding, Craig. We could tell by the drone's eye in the sky that what lay ahead was better suited to something more of an amphibious nature, or maybe later in the year, a
What's up, buddy? What's up? What are they doing? Where you going, boy?
It's like really fast. Look at the way past. You know what they're called?
All right, well, our trek south to Anchorage has begun. We're a couple hundred miles further south from where we started out this morning and found camp along yet another trail. So getting ready to have some delectable dinner. Sarah, why don't you tell our fine followers what you're whipping up?
Oh, tonight I'm slaving over homemade noodles and chicken with sweet springtime peas and lovely, dense but fluffy garlic toast.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a feast.
It's gonna be great.
Look at that. They look so happy.
They look excited to eat it. Like we said before, if they're happy, we can be happy.
Yeah, it's where you eat it. It's not what you eat.
Right.
What we having for dinner over here?
We've got steaks with mushroom and onions and some peppers.
Man,
Garlic butter, of course.
that sounds good.
And the squirrel steaks can go on the grill and num num nums.
Yeah.
Costco steak.
There you go. That'll work all day.
How we do.
That's how we're making it tonight.
Taking it up a notch.
And butter delivery.
Yes. Yeah, you better believe I'm going to add butter to the noodles.
Yeah,
so.
butter on top of butter on top of butter. And is everyone happy? Yes. It's all buttered up.
Yep.
What you doing, boy? What you doing?
I've been walking down this road, on my own, on my own. I've been searching to find my way, to find the path.
How'd you sleep?
A lot better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You rested? You look fresh.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You look ready for another week of just go, go, go.
No.
No?
I don't think
You don't
so.
want me to extend our flight?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, good job. gotta end.
Yeah.
You have to go back to start appreciating it at some point.
That is true. That is true.
Otherwise, you're just in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually.
Your train ain't running like I wanted to go. Like the seas await for the dawn to come. I feel hope in the strength of our love.
After some hot coffee, delicious pancakes, pure maple syrup, and pre-cooked sausage patties, we were ready to hit the Alaskan bush one last time. I'm not gonna lie, even though we were exhausted after 3 weeks of fast and furious travel, it was so hard to stop exploring this wild and beautiful country with her constant surprises and ever-present excitement for what's around the next bend. Welcome to Petersville, Alaska. This tiny town of 21 people are all that's left of an all too familiar cycle of gold discovery, boom, then bust, leaving behind only a glimmer of its former glory. Now we owe our thanks for the existence of this trail to a gold strike in 1898 when prospectors began pulling color from their pans along Cache Creek, just a few miles west of here. The excitement for the discovery was quickly tempered though, since these gold fields were very remote, which made moving mining equipment and supplies extremely difficult. Then, in 1917, a miner named Henry Barenberg blazed the trail from Cache Creek to Talkeetna, and soon, a fresh stream of miners began making their way to the finds. The Cache Creek Wagon Road, as it was called, would eventually be widened and renamed the Petersville Road as more formal settlements were developed along its route. To date, an estimated 200,000 ounces of gold have been pulled from these streams. That's about $347 million at gold's current value, which makes it even more impressive when you consider that this was all mostly dug and sluiced by hand.
So we're back to where we started. So dancing in the garden, underneath the stars, just hoping in our hearts maybe we'll get it right this time. A feeling I can't explain it, at least I think it's complicated. So the black clouds or the distant sounds encroaching thunder, yes, I know a day's a number, and we're not gonna get it hit it out of focus. You're falling for a moment. Take note of the unnoticed. Let go of the motive. Stop and smell the roses. Long as there's life in my lungs, I can't seem to separate you from the air I breathe. So it sounds just to find out what it really means. This is everything, this is nothing. This is something in between. Wake up my love, rise with the sun, taking the missing pieces of all that once was yet to come. I know there must be some reason, some objective truth.
While most of this area has privately held mining claims, the state of Alaska has set aside a few places for recreational panning,
And since my first attempt got thoroughly rained out a couple weeks back, it was time for redemption, and maybe a bit of pocket change if I could find some color. Gold panning works on the relative gravity of the material, rocks, and minerals. Since gold weighs 19 times more than water, and about 6 to 8 times more than most rocks and minerals in the riverbed, it will sink to the bottom of your pan. The trick is to get all the material suspended in the water so gravity can do its job as you slough off the lighter material off the top. I like to use my fingers to stir up the muddy mess first to get everything saturated and moving around. Then I pull the larger rocks out. But just make sure you wash them off over the pan because apparently gold flakes can stick to them. You can also use a screen or qualifier before loading the pan to help keep the bigger stuff out. Next is just a lot of moving and shaking while keeping fresh water flowing into the pan. It's best to do this in a still part of the stream so the current doesn't accidentally wash material out too fast. When there's very little material in the pan is when I slow down and let the riffles on the edge do the work of keeping those gold particles in place while the rest flows over the edge. It all sounds relaxing and maybe even looks satisfying, but after a couple of hours, your back locks into a permanent arch, and you start to appreciate how hard the miners of old had to work to make a living in these streams. But when you see a bit of color after a few minutes of work, it's very, very hard to stop. And that is why they call it gold fever.
That'll work. All right, now set it in the water. Okay. Use your fingers and remember to like stir it up without letting any big pieces fall out, like this. Help that gold go down to the bottom. Pick it up and just go side to side. Well, front to back really. Shake it a little harder and tilt it. Tilt it out a little more so that the bad stuff can go out. There you go. There you go. Now pause a second. Give it a good smack. No, like this. And then just go back to doing this again. A little smack. A little bit of this. And you want to keep it just moving so that gold can fall to the bottom, okay? There you go. Yeah, so you're gonna go, let's turn those riffles this way. You follow me, okay? There you go, you're doing good. See how I'm back up out of the water now? You gotta get a little more of that sand out of there though.
Do you see any?
A little bitty piece right there.
Where? Oh yeah, I see that. That's cool.
Excuse me. Excuse me. He's hunting the rock.
Dad, look at this.
Awesome. That's gorgeous.
After a good workout and several pans with a bit of color, it was time to stretch sore limbs and finish out the trail while we soaked up a little bit of that rare Alaskan golden sunshine instead. We certainly didn't pay for the trip with this effort, but the special connection of panning with Caroline alongside a stream where miners worked 100 years ago keeps us coming back for more. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get lucky and find a small nugget. But for now, we're far richer in our experiences, and that is just fine with us. During one of the countless water crossings, Claire spotted a flash of color in a tiny tributary and yelled, "Salmon!" Honestly, the stream was so small we were a bit stunned when we ran back and indeed saw a beautiful 30-plus inch salmon trying to decide its next move, which was apparently to backtrack to the larger river for now. It's unreal how far these fish travel to spawn, and apparently some come from tiny streams one would never suspect held such a big fish. As we were making our way along the trail, my vintage radar went off, and I caught a glimpse of what looked like a 40 Series Land Cruiser in the bush. After pulling over to investigate, what we found wasn't a 40, but it turned out to be something even cooler.
You know what that is? Did it tracks on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, what's the name of it?
Snow track? That's what it says. Wow, what a machine. That front end is cool. Dang.
It's probably for here for winter. That's awesome.
Look at, dude, that is the Winter Alaska Overland Edition right there. You need to get one of those and build that out. See, there's your roof
business.
There's your roof rack right there. Man, that's so cool.
These are awesome.
I wonder what year that is.
Almost like a Citron base in the
Sweden.
S24, number 409.
Wow. That is amazing.
Love the radio on the side too as well.
Yeah.
Snow.
Looks like we need a winter adventure in our future with something like this to play around in. I made sure to thoroughly encourage Craig to add one of these to the fleet for next time. With yet another incredible Alaskan trail complete, it was time for the ceremonial airing up. In the distance, Denali continued to tease us with glimpses of her snowy shroud through the sporadic cloud cover, and we couldn't help but sigh wistfully, knowing that our time in Alaska was up, and we would soon be on a jet headed south again. There aren't words to express our special connection to this wild, magical land, and every time we set foot in this wilderness, the call grows a little louder in our bones to return again. Who knows? Maybe one day it will get the better of us and we'll just stay. But for now, we've pointed our trusty rental steed, Nanana, south and let her gallop for the stable as we reflect on some of the most memorable Alaska moments we'll be carrying home in our hearts.
Tossed in like a castaway, what we wanted, not what we thought we wanted. Tossed in, you couldn't see it coming, what we needed, not what we thought we needed. Don't give up, don't give in. Waiting patiently from where riches flow, My heart is sure to follow. Over here, you can see much clearer. What you wanted was always only what we needed. Won't give up, won't give in. Take everything we have and let the new begin. Won't give up, won't give in. Take everything we have and let the new. Take everything we have and let the new begin.
After our final burn south, we crash landed at Craig and Brooke's house, where Brooke had been holding down the fort for the incoming and outgoing Reynolds with her two sons, Corbin and Owen. On our last night, we were treated to some of the best salmon we've ever tasted, which was a fitting ending to the perfect North Country adventure, as Alaska said goodbye with one last wildlife encounter, right in their backyard. Our family would like to extend a very special thanks to the Alaska Overlander family for their friendship and hospitality over these past 2 years. You guys are truly amazing, and we can't wait to return again for even more adventures, hopefully with the whole family next time around. And if you've enjoyed this series and you're serious about finding an easy way to experience the wilder side of Alaska, then we highly recommend you start booking now for your own adventure at alaskaoverlander.com. Craig and Brooke are already filling up for 2023, so now's the time to lock in your slot before they're gone. Oh, and let them know we sent you. Now, we head south to the lower 48, where a new type of adventure is already brewing. Something exciting, something huge, and maybe even more wild than Alaska itself. You're going to want to stick around for what's next, so stay tuned, stay curious, and remember to leave it better than you found it.